Good morning, Year 2, and welcome back. Now, I thought we'd start our spelling lesson with a bit of revision, which means practicing something we've already done, because before we broke up before Christmas, we did a test on those minion spellings, and these are all some of the Year 2 minion spellings, but of course, they're not spelt correctly at the moment, so it's your job to work out what is wrong with these spellings. So we've got clothes, climb, right, city, badge, busy, world, fast, bridge, door, bath, and then that one is pretty and that one is beautiful. So I want you to pause the screen and have a go at writing those out correctly. Some of them have just got a tiny little mistake, some of them have got a few more mistakes in them. So no cheating, I want you to have a go and see which ones you can get right. So let's look at which ones we can correct. So I think right is the easiest one because that is just missing the silent W. For right, what's another easy one? Door is very easy. All you have to do for door is put in another O. Any more easy ones? Fast is easy. You just need to cross out something there. If you think of it as fast, it's much easier to spell as fast. Now maybe you remember busy. Remember the picture of the bus? It's like bussy. And world has only got one mistake, and that's the vowel sound. It's actually an O. Makes world. But remember, you can't sound out any of these words. You just need to remember. Now, climb doesn't have an E, but it does have a silent B. There's climb. Clothes, that says cloths at the moment. To turn it into clothes, it's a bit like a sort of split digraph because it needs an E. So it now says clothes. Bath, that's got a few mistakes actually because it's like bath, b-a, and then th making a th sound, not a f sound. Now bridge is a dudge word. Br-i, then it's a dangerous green elephant for dudge. Badge is also a dudge word. A dangerous green elephant for badge. Now city, that one's completely wrong. It starts with a Cinderella C, it, and then it's a Y making the E sound. I think beautiful's the hardest one, so let's do pretty first. So remember, pretty has an E, not an I, and it's got two T's, pretty. Beautiful, it's like bow, then it's a T, and then it's a full. And the bow bit, you just need to learn how to spell that. It's a B-E, then an A-U. So make sure you've written down the correct versions of those words. Another big well done to our Minion certificate winners from just before Christmas. So they redid their test and these are the people who beat their scores by the highest amount. So well done to the bronze winners. That's Indy, Effie, Herbie and Eleora. And well done to our silver winners. That's Abigail, Precious, Olivia D and Tavius. And finally, biggest well done of all to Lehigh, our gold certificate winner and the gold medal winner. Now we will be doing this test again somewhere in school. So keep practicing those lists of words. We'll make sure we put another list in your pack. Before half term, we were looking at the story Hand as Surprise. What we're going to think about today is how we could change this story. So I've got listed here the three main elements of a fiction book. There's the setting, there's the characters, and there's the plot. That's what happens. Now we could definitely change the setting. So Hand as Surprise is set in Kenya. We could definitely change that to somewhere else. You can change the characters. It doesn't have to be a little girl called Handa. She doesn't have to have a friend called Akeo. The plot, though, is what we want to try and keep. So we still want a similar plot where someone is taking something to someone else and then as they're on their way, the things are taken, the things go missing. So my idea was to change Hand as Surprise to a story that's set in our country. So I thought about the setting. And this is the setting I've chose. Now, hopefully you recognise that road. That's Hartington Road. And that's the house just before the school. So just as you're going up the hill from the Lewis Road, the school is just at the end there. And then I had another idea. Now, if you look at this picture, some of you might recognise that. You might have seen it in the cupboard. Now, that's my trolley that I use to take your books to and from school. So I take them home sometimes to mark them, or sometimes when I bring things into school, I have them in that trolley. So those were my first ideas. We could have Hartington Road, so it's set in our country, and I'm walking to school with my trolley. Now, sometimes I bring things into school to share with you. So sometimes when we did Hand of Surprise, usually I'd bring in the fruits from Hand of Surprise so we could look at them and then we chop them up and taste them. So instead of using the African fruits, maybe we could use fruits from our country. So I wanted to think about what fruits grow in our country. Now, they are hidden on this page somewhere. So if I start rubbing out bits, we can work out what they are. So apples, that's probably like the first one you'd think of. Let's see if we can find another one. There's a peach. Peaches grow in our country as well. Oh, what's this one? Pears. We can grow pears. Blackberries, they grow just, don't they, on the wild in hedges and things. You can see blackberries growing in the wild. Oh, there's some more. Cherries, they grow in the springtime. I've got some cherry trees in my road. We can grow strawberries in our country. Oh, there's something else there. I wonder if you know what that one is. That's a bit trickier. That's a plum. So plums grow now. Have we got 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those are 7 fruits. So those are the fruits that I could be taking to school to share with year 2. Now, can you guess what we need to think about next? If we've got 7 fruits, we also need 7 animals. And I've used the word native British animals. So that's animals that live in the wild in our country. Now, I live very close to the school and I live close to the old Victorian graveyard. And so all these animals that I've got hidden on this page, I have actually seen. So I've seen them in Brighton. They've been in my garden. Some of them I've seen in the school playground early in the morning before you're there. Some of these animals are roaming around in our playground. So let's see what animals we can find. Definitely see a lot of those. I've had those move into my attic before, squirrels. There are lots of squirrels around and they would definitely pinch things out of a trolley, wouldn't they? Definitely seen some mice. I've sadly seen those in my house as well. Lots of these wild animals are coming into my house. And we do have lots of wild rabbits, especially up in the downs. Oh, there's something else there. What's that? That's a hedgehog. You don't see many of those. They're quite rare now and they're nocturnal. So I don't know if you remember from year 1, nocturnal means that they come out at night. Now this one here, this is a really big one. And they definitely come out at night. And the graveyard has lots of these living in there and they do come in our playground. And we know that because they leave their poo on our football pitch. And Mr. Farrow has to clean it up, doesn't he? Now I wonder what that is. That's the bottom of an animal. A long time ago, we set up a night vision camera to film the foxes. And instead of foxes on the camera in the school playground, some of these were there. And these are badgers. So there are badgers that live locally as well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's another animal hiding. Oh, I think it's the one I don't like very much, it is. And that is a rat. And you do get rats around as well. So all of those 7 animals are wild in Brighton, so they live in the wild. So if you look at this picture, you can start to understand how the story, the new version of the story, might work. We've got a fox here, and then we've got the trolley there with one of the apples on the top of it. And of course, I wouldn't notice because I pulled the trolley behind me. I'm facing forwards, I wouldn't see a thing. So that is the idea for the story. Now what we've got to think about now, just like we did with the other story, is start off with coming up with some adjectives for how we're going to describe the different characters. So if we think about the fox, what sort of words could you use to describe him? He's a something something fox, and then you could use with to extend it. So here we've got a sly brown fox with an evil glint in its eye. So we've got two adjectives, sly, brown there. Oh, we've got another one here because it's an evil glint. So what you're going to do for each animal, you're going to write a noun phrase. And remember, it's not a sentence. That's why it ends with ... because at the moment the fox isn't doing anything. You just have to put two adjectives to describe him. So here we've got all the animals. So a squirrel, it could be a cheeky grey squirrel with a bushy tail, a spiky hedgehog with a shiny black nose. So I want adjectives to describe them, then a with and a something else that they've got for each animal. Here are the spellings of the nouns just to help you. Badger's a good one because it's a dudge word, and so is hedgehog. So those are words that you do need to know how to spell anyway. We've got the owl sound in mouse. We've got I and then a double R because of the short I, and then a double B for rabbit. So make sure you spell those correctly. And I've actually changed native to wild because some of these animals haven't always lived in our country. Rabbits, they came over with the Romans. We had hares, but we didn't have rabbits. And grey squirrels, I think they came from America because the native squirrels in our country were red and the grey squirrels sort of took over. So I look forward to hearing some of your noun phrases this afternoon.